Right, shifting focus, let's cross live to India today. Women Summit, where Rajdeep Sardesai is speaking to Women and Child Development Minister Maneka Gandhi.
And we failed miserably because all the women that won were nominated by the district magistrate, and obviously were out of the Rotary Club or relatives of his, or women who played bridge with him. So we then decided to go another route, and we went into collaboration with Facebook so that people nominate their own heroines. And this would make it much more egalitarian, because you could have the women counsellor, you could have somebody who taught you stitching, you could have somebody who did the ironing for the colony, anybody who you felt had become a role model and who personified things you'd like to see in women in India. And so 100 women will win, but they will be voted by India itself. And the only prize we're giving them is lunch with the president and one sari each, which is made by a designer. That's it.
So that's 100 women in a country with what? 55 million women?
Yes.
And counting?
Actually, the Prime Minister was quite excited by this as well. So when we presented it to him, he said, but what about the women who come second? He said exactly the same thing. What will happen to those that don't make the 100, especially if we have thousands of entries? So what he wanted was that the women who don't win but almost made it have lunch with the governor. That's good enough. So there'll be 36 governors.
You can take it right down the line. You can
whatever.
and end with the district magistrate, since the district magistrate was the source of your initial problems.
Yeah.
But the fact is that in a country as large as ours, there are remarkable women. Do you believe that in a sense the idea is to create new role models for a new India? Is that to showcase these women so that there are new role models out there?
Yes, to add to the role models, If India can have 33,000 gods, why not 33,000 goddesses who really live, who actually teach us how to live our lives? It would be nice to have that many people. And we can easily find them. Everywhere I look, I find somebody whom I would like to be, or who I feel really proud of, and I'm energized by. And you come across them all the time.
But I'm often wondering whether, a woman can be a homemaker. When we look at achievement, putting a home together is not easy either, particularly in many parts of this country. So, do you believe a homemaker is also an achiever in the Indian context?
Absolutely. I mean, I am who I am today because of my mother. So I just think that it's really homemakers where we all start from. And I know women who've kept the entire family together. They know every cousin, every niece, and every nephew. And every time there's a celebration, the whole Indian family, mere chacha ke, tau ke, nana ke, brother-in-law, they all come together. And it's wondrous, it's amazing. And yes, women like that also deserve every award.
So homemakers can be nominated?
Of course.
Okay,
of course.
Good. So that opens up more windows. You don't have to be a woman wrestler winning a bronze medal in a major tournament to qualify.
No, you simply just have to have changed other people's lives for the better. That's it. We wanted 5,000 nominations per person, but we're not going to reach that this year. Probably because our paperwork was so complex. But we've simplified it, and I'm thinking of increasing the time, because I don't think September 30th will bring in, after the simplified forms, as many people.
Just get Prime Minister Modi to put it on his Mann Ki Baat.
He has.
It's the easiest way to amplify it.
That's right. He's put it on his MyGov, and he's tweeted about it and stuff. So, yes, let's see how many we get this year.
Let me turn to you make news, sometimes for the right reasons, sometimes for the wrong reasons. You made a statement recently which evoked a very strong reaction, that all violence is male-generated. Are you saying that poor old souls like me are responsible for for all the violence that's been out there, that this is a gender battle. Are we still fighting some kind of a gender war?
Well, I would say we are still actually fighting a gender war. If you look at it, it's maybe an invisible war now, because I don't think men would take it up front. But perhaps my statement was, condensed to mean what it didn't mean. The question was that, do you think that men should be sensitized about women's issues and about, how to behave with women? And I said yes, perhaps because most violence is male-generated. Now, it could be female-instigated. After all, a lot of dowry deaths take place because the mother-in-law decides. And we've had, when we did this Beti Bachao program in 100 constituencies, we actually started off by doing a Dadi Poti team, because the Dadi in the house decides whether the little girl will be born or not. So yes, female violence, violence may be instigated by women sometimes, but certainly, women don't rape women. And the actual hands-on violence is, men upon women.
But as you said, it could be the mother-in-law in the house, it could be...
As I said, it'd be instigated
it could be,
by
I know that's a stereotype, but the fact is that that women can often be their own worst enemies.
Oh, absolutely. It's not even a black and white issue at all, as it's being made out to be. And I'm sorry that it's turned into something so, so black and white. It's actually completely grey, the area. But as I said, women may instigate it.
Because you've now got men, for example, who are protesting against the manner in which they believe sexual harassment laws are being misused. Yeah. Male groups have been formed protesting against the manner in which Section 498A of the Dowry Act is being misused. Do you believe these groups are just fringe groups?
No,
Much like there are fringe groups within the Sangh Parivar, there are fringe groups among males.
I don't know whether they're fringe groups. I know that what's happened is there are a lot of people with very little to do. So, and the Twitter and Facebook gives you the ability to use your time rather than eating or sleeping. So maybe you create controversies where none exist. And that's what I think happened in this.
So you support stronger laws on sexual harassment at the workplace. You believe there should be stronger anti-dowry laws. You believe that, just because there is the possibility of a misuse by a few, that cannot be used to prevent stronger laws for sexual harassment at the workplace.
No, I don't support stronger ones. I just believe the ones that exist are good. And they just need to be implemented. For instance, sexual harassment at the workplace. Up till now, very few companies have actually made the group that you can report to. So now what we've done is we've asked the finance ministry to put it that every company, when they file their returns, has to actually file that they have made this grouping within their company. And we do take it up. Lots of places, government hasn't taken it up either. But by the time we're through, give me another year or so, everybody will have a little group within, as mandated by the law, to look at sexual harassment cases.
So you're saying if a company or a corporate doesn't follow the Vishaka guidelines, and doesn't ensure that there are sexual harassment committees in place as mandated by the law, the government will act against those companies?
Well, first they have to put it into their returns, into their audited thing. And if that doesn't happen, yes, there will be consequences.